Hi dear Cancers, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits for the month of March. This March is not very eventful stars wise, but at the same time we have a lunar eclipse in March, at the end of March, so it's like a very contradicting month, even though we don't have a lot going on, but still it's going to be intense because of the eclipse. So let's begin. The first week of March is going to be uneventful, okay? Because we have the last quarter moon on March 3rd, so that means it's not a great time to start new things. You need to wait until the new moon to start new things. So the first week of March is a great time to rest, to recharge your batteries. It's like naturally it's a time for that. So don't feel guilty if you don't feel like doing things in the first week of March. Be gentle with yourself. What is this time good for? This time is good for wrapping things up that started with the previous new moon. It's a good time to start getting ready for the upcoming new moon, and you can do that by setting an appointment so that you can go to that appointment after the new moon. It's a great time to fill out an application so that you can find out about the decision of that application, like after the new moon. This can be a time when you mail something so that it's delivered by the time of the new moon. You get the idea. And so don't waste energy trying to start something around this time. It's not gonna start. It's gonna be like a false start, and it's gonna require Herculean effort with little rewards. So if you do need to start new things, wait until the new moon. So on March 9th, Mercury is going to enter Aries until May 15th. This is an unusually long time for Mercury to spend in Aries, and that is because of the upcoming Mercury retrograde in April. It's going to be the first Mercury retrograde of the year, but I'm going to talk more about that later in April. But what I do need to mention in March is that Mercury, even though it's going to be direct, but still on March 18th, it's going to enter its shadow period. And so if you need to make decisions, major decisions, if you need to sign a contract, if you need to sign an agreement, or buy something expensive like electronics, do so before March 18th. Yeah, like roughly speaking, the first half of March, okay? Because when you sign contracts, when the Mercury is retrograde or when it's in the shadow period, the terms tend to change, or if you buy electronics during that period, it might not work as it's supposed to, or it might not last as long as it's supposed to. So it's a good idea to keep the receipt, or like have a warranty or insurance for it if you do end up buying it like after March 18th. So yeah, and then on March 10th we have that new moon in Pisces on the 20th degree of Pisces. And so you can start expecting news, announcements, decisions starting from March 6th, because we start feeling the effects of the new moon 4 days before the new moon. And this new moon, dear Cancers, for you, this is in your 9th house. 9th house is the house of our personal philosophy. It's like it's the filter through which we interpret the world. It's like our personal beliefs, like personal philosophy, our morals. It's also the house of religion. It's a house of higher education. It's the house of travel. It's like learning the world, trying to understand the world. Like 9th house is a very global house, okay? And your worldview, yeah. And this new moon, new moon, like this one is minor. It's not a solar eclipse, but still, it might act like a solar eclipse for some Cancers, because this is the last new moon before the solar eclipse in Aries in April. And sometimes the effects of the events of that solar eclipse can play out a month ahead of that eclipse itself, or sometimes a month after. So for some Cancers, this might be the time when you find out something major, okay? Might be the time of achievement. And since this is a 9th house, it might be something travel related. For some Cancers might apply for a passport and get it around this new moon. Other Cancers, this might be the time when they find out that they got accepted into a university. because this is the time when people find out, right? The admissions decisions. For other cancers, it might be the time when they travel, like spring break time. Yeah, it's a great time to travel, especially because you have so many planets. Around this new moon, you will have 4 planets in your ninth house. You have Saturn in the early degrees of Pisces, and then Neptune in the late degrees of Pisces, and the luminaries will be loosely sandwiched between them, in the midpoint between those 2 big planets. And the only major aspect this new moon makes is a sextile aspect to Taurus, to Uranus in Taurus, I mean. And sextile is a good aspect. It's a supportive aspect. It's like the aspect of opportunity. Okay, so, and because it's Uranus, it might be like sudden opportunity, like not major, but like still sudden opportunity, and in a good way. It's not gonna be like a bad surprise. Like, okay. And what else? I think I mentioned all the things I need to mention about this new moon. And what else? On March 11th, Venus is gonna enter Pisces. So again, it's gonna enter your ninth house. So after the new moon, during the new moon, you had 4 planets, right, in your ninth house. The moon, it's a fast-moving planet, so it's gonna leave your ninth house, but Venus is gonna take its place one day after the new moon. And and then later, on March 22nd, Mars is gonna join them. So you're gonna have 5 planets in your ninth house. So dear Cancers, March for you is all about your worldview, your personal philosophy, travel, okay, like expanding your knowledge. This might be the time for some Cancers when they're like learning something, attending a course, when they sign up for some webinar, when they're like researching, learning something, like updating their knowledge. Or this might be the time when they're like reevaluating their philosophy. But like these planets are not retrograde, so I wouldn't say it's reevaluation. It looks like it's gonna be very much about like traveling. Even if you don't travel physically, it might be the time when you read a book for some by some exotic author, like from faraway places, or something that challenges your personal worldview. Or it might be the time when you simply go to many, when you try food from like different cuisines, exotic cuisines, yeah. Or even if you cannot travel around this time, at least try to travel mentally, like watch foreign movies. Yeah, so I feel like Cancers, you're gonna be doing a lot of that in March. It's all about like traveling, both physically or mentally, like, yeah. And okay, on March 19th, the sun is gonna enter Aries, spring equinox, yay, in the northern hemisphere. I'm excited about spring. And so, dear Cancers, that means the sun is gonna enter your 10th house, okay? And next, on March 22nd, Mars is gonna enter Pisces, I mentioned that. And then on March 25th, at the end of March, we have that lunar eclipse in Libra, on the 5th degree of Libra. And dear Cancers, for you, Libra is your 4th house. So you will have the sun in your 10th house and the moon in your 4th house. So it's all about like finding the balance between your social status, your work, career, and your home life, your family, okay, the place you live at. So this, for some Cancers, this might be the time when you get a promotion and thus you have to move, okay, because 4th house. And lunar eclipse is about culmination, illumination, clarity, understanding, achievement, okay, so something related, like culmination regarding the place you live at. Maybe this is the time when you decide to move, when you sell your house. Yeah, that's major, right? When you manage to sell your house. So these are the things like eclipse things, eclipse related things, I mean. This might be the time when you actually buy your first house. So again, another eclipse event. But this year, the focus is mostly on your career. So I'm assuming like it's not really about like the place you live at, but more about your work, like having to move because of your work. Okay, and like 4th house is also the people you live with. So for some young Cancers who share like the house or have like housemates, roommates, there might be changes in the place you live at, like maybe one roommate will move out, or maybe you will get more roommates. Yeah, something like that. Or for some cancers, this might be the time when you decide to renovate your place. Yeah, because because you got promotion at work, and now you can afford to make renovations at home. Does that make sense? There are like many possibilities of interpreting lunar eclipses. There's no like one interpretation that's going to be true for millions of cancers. No, not like that. And it's always like you have to consider your own chart. For some cancers, they might have their moon in the 5th degree of Libra, so that means this eclipse is going to be huge for them. The eclipse happening on their natal moon. So do check your chart, okay? Do check your birth chart. For some cancers, they might have Libra rising sign, so that means the lunar eclipse is happening in their first house, okay? But for now, I'm just talking generally. I'm going to make a separate video for the eclipses, so if you want more information about the eclipses, do check that video. Like, I'm gonna record it probably tomorrow, okay, or sometime in March. I'm definitely gonna post it. But overall, dear cancers, March is very much about your worldview, personal philosophy, and travel, okay, and education. I feel like in March you're gonna be like thirsty for knowledge. Yeah, like thirsty for knowledge. And remember, this year is very much about career for you. You have a solar eclipse coming up in your career house. So yeah, dear cancers, I hope you enjoy this March. Even though paradoxically, like, there's not a lot going on in March, but still we have that lunar eclipse, so it's gonna be quite intense. I'm being honest, okay? The months surrounding the eclipse are always intense, and not necessarily in a bad way. It's just we are busy adapting changes, adjusting to the changes brought by the eclipses. And eclipses are not something to fear. Like, eclipses are actually good. They make like huge changes in our lives. And since this one is in your 4th house in March, so expect changes in your residence, maybe like in your family life, okay? So thank you for watching, dear cancers. I hope you guys have a wonderful March, and I'll see you guys in my April video. Okay, bye.